So today we are going to talk about speech context and its types. Before we begin, let us talk about what is a speech context. So a speech context, from the word speech, it refers to a delivery of a message, or in which in our daily conversations we call that a speech. But in speech context, we talk about the purpose of the message. Why was the message delivered, and the styles of delivering a message. So there are two types of speech context, namely the interpersonal type of communication and the intrapersonal type of communication. So the first type of speech context is the intrapersonal communication. Intrapersonal, or otherwise known as self-talk. So from the word self-talk and intrapersonal, you quite get the idea so quickly that it is based on yourself. And frankly, that is correct. Why? Because the intrapersonal type of communication focuses you as an individual. You are the sender as well as you are the receiver. So with this communication, it is just sending a message to yourself, implying only on those self-thoughts or talking to yourself. A great example of this would be yoga, or could be meditation, reflection. It is just like you have to say something, but no one listens. Only you listen, so you received your own message. So this type of communication doesn't rarely focus on the words, but it is quite effective in building up your own self. It builds up the characteristics, the attitude, via communicating to oneself. As they say, good communication can lead to better results. And that will be implored generally regarding to yourself and to others. So the next one, the second type of communication would be the interpersonal type of communication. Interpersonal. So if intrapersonal means self, then interpersonal must mean somebody else, right? Right. It means the communication of one, two, or more people. It is just simply like talking to another person, talking to a group, or talking to another person. So yeah, that was it. I mean, that was the definition of interpersonal type of communication. But hold your horses, because there are a lot of types of interpersonal communication. So the first type of interpersonal communication would be the dyadic communication. Dyad, D-Y-A-D. Dyad, or dyadic communication. What does dyadic mean? It's simply just a formal saying of two. So based on my research, it means a particular element or something consisting on two. So with that saying, you can already know what dyadic communication means. It means the communication of two individuals. The exchanging of information, ideas, thoughts, and anything. It's simply like communicating to a friend, someone else. It's just like two persons communicating. So the next one would be the small group communication. Small group. Yes, small group. Because it only requires 3 to 15 people. So basically, the aim of the small group communication is just to discuss a topic, to discuss something, discuss a problem, in order for them to think of a solution, in order for them to help solve it together. Yes, together. Over here, it requires everyone to be both the speaker and the listener. I forgot about the dyadic. It goes the same. Both of the people are the listener and the speaker. So a focus on the small group communication is just to communicate with the group in order for them to solve a topic. So the next one would be public communication. Here, public communication is quite different from the two other interpersonal communications, dyadic and the small group. Here, public communication focuses on only one speaker. Yes, one speaker to a whole number of audiences, or a whole number of listeners or receivers. So a great example of this would be the president trying to address his nation with a speech. Or a simple example, but it is still an example. A simple example would be just these graduation speeches. So the next would be mass communication. Mass communication, it's not those speeches you do in the church. See what I did there? But mass communication seriously means the communicating or the exchanging of ideas. It is simply communicating with a bunch of peoples, but in a wide coverage. From the word mass, it means a large number of something. In this case, a large number of listeners or speakers. Mass communication, a good example of mass communication would be how the news is spreading all these informations towards all the people in one country and sometimes eventually the whole world. Mass communication is aided through the use of internet. Yes, internet is very useful. Technology, smartphones, just the things you use to communicate to people all over the globe. So the last type of communication would be the organizational communication. Yes, I didn't even know that this was a thing, but frankly it's a thing. So the organizational communication, it refers to the communication of the members of an organization. It is the linked communication, meaning linked, the connectivity of all the people inside the group. In conclusion, communication or these types of speech contacts isn't really that complex. I mean, you might say it's hard because there are a lot of it, but we do it every day. And by doing it every day, it would be so easy to internalize because communication is always present in our everyday lives.